Alright, hello again, my name is the Flying Rodent and you're watching a Let's Play of Skyrim Special Edition on Legendary difficulty. This is my character, his name is Legendary Dude, and he is a Nord Mage. So he is following a build guide that I wrote on Steam that can choose between 1 of 5 races. In the first video I used a random number generators to choose what race I was going to select, and it ended up landing on Nord. So Nords, early on, have exactly the wrong skills for this type of build, but it doesn't matter, so it's probably all the better that I'm advertising something like a Nord, because you have a non-magical typical race being used for a early on made build on Legendary difficulty. We escaped Helgen, we made it to Riverwood, we made buddies with Faendal by basically convincing his would-be girlfriend that his love triangle interest just wants her to cook and clean for him. So now he's going to be like, yay! Now she loves me and I'm going to run off an adventure with this dude and maybe never come back. So, yeah. Love triangles, eh? So, what we're going to do first is the thing we're going to do is we eventually want to go to Whiterun. And we eventually want to go and see Faendal and get the quest to go to Bleak Falls Barrow, yada yada yada, as you would do if you were just playing this game organically and you didn't have much idea of where all the interesting things are in the far off parts of the land, and you're just going to follow the main quest line. And that's basically what we're going to do. But before we do that, we want to get Conjuration to 25, and we're going to head to this location here, Embershard Mine, which is hopefully in the centre of the screen at the moment, because that's got some bandits, and we can resurrect them using this cool spell called Raise Zombie. Now, Raise Zombie provides the most experience in the early game for any Conjuration spell, so that's why we're going to be using that. So before we do that, I'm going to tidy up my quick menu a bit because it's a bit of a schmozzle. So yeah, I'm actually not going to bother using one-handed weapons anymore. We use one-handed weapons early on in the tutorial, mainly because they gave experience, so I technically could have sold this mace, but just to show that you can use it, I'm going to say, hey, you can keep hold of a mace. We have mainly novice hood and robes because we're a mage. We've got some little bits of jewellery, we've got some healing and magic potions, standard early game stuff. But yeah, let's do a quick bar and get on our way. I'll stop talking. So we want hunting bow on 1, healing on 2, probably fury, probably flames on 3, fury probably 4, Raise Zombie will go 5, and oak flesh will go 6. You're rarely going to use sparks, so it can be 7. I have to get used to PC quick bars. I mentioned this last time, I mainly played this game on Switch and not on PC, so number quick bars are a complete novelty to me. I'm used to just like going to the quick menu and then going up and down between the options and selecting them, which I'll probably just end up doing because I'm not versed enough in the muscle memory yet. So anyway, we're heading to Embershard Mine, which is this way. Probably what the first thing we want to do is we want to heal ourselves and gain some healing and gain some restoration experience. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I've advertised as quote-unquote the best way to gain restoration experience in the early game, and that is to quite literally stand in front of an enemy on legendary difficulty getting hit and hopefully not die. Thankfully, early bandits don't do too much damage. Now I did kind of go cross-country, and Faendal's pathfinding AI is probably not the best. Oh, there we go, he's right here, that's nice. There's a bandit. There we go. So I'm just gonna like stand here while he wallops me with his mace. So hopefully Faendal gets the message and actually attacks him. I'm not sure what Faendal's doing. Follower AI in this game is a little bit interesting, to say the least. There we go. He's got an arrow in him. So I'm guessing Faendal has decided to hit him. So now we're gonna have to probably find Faendal and hide behind him and say, hey, pretty please, can you just like take the aggro of this guy who's trying to wallop me in the face? But I can't actually find him, which is really annoying because he's like a wood elf and camouflaged amongst the foliage, which is really nice. He's also wearing Imperial Light Armor, which is kind of not a nice colour. So where on earth did he go? Anyway, we're getting some... Oh, there he is. Hello. We're getting some restoration experience, and that's what counts, right? Am I actually going to die here? I think I might die. Ow. Jesus. There we go. Come on, Faendal. Do something fucking useful. Yay, there we go. Alright. Good. So now that this is happening, I can switch to my bow and I can shoot him, and it's easy to do that in... he's already dead. Thanks, Faendal, for nothing. Alright, cool. So now, we're going to take all this stuff, we're going to heal up. There we go, we're almost level 3 already. We're going to get to level... Oh, there we go, we are level 3, sweet. Okay, well then, we can select more Magicka again. So we're going to take Magicka up to level 11. We're going to select Magicka up to there, so we'll end up with 200 base Magicka by the end. So that's mainly to make early casting easier. Now what we did manage to do actually now is we managed to get to level 3 and get the Conjuration perk before we cast a single Conjuration spell, which will make things quite useful. So, let's explain how Ray Zombie works. So Ray Zombie gives you experience only if you're in combat. So what we need to do is we need to raise this zombie, which will stay alive for 60 seconds, and then we have 60 seconds to find combat. So we're going to find combat within the mine, which is up the hill, pretty easily. So let's do that now. I'm used to tab shifting between third and first person, that's partially the reason why I keep doing that. Alright, and we're in the cave. There's a tripwire here, which you can just, like, use, because the rocks fall in front of you, you know, because reasons. And then you can just walk around them. Good rock trap. There are some mushrooms in here. Now, what we can do is we can use Fury as well. So let's have a go at Fury to make some of the bandits fight each other. So let's do that, because these guys are having a nice friendly conversation, and now we're just going to make them fight each other because of reasons. And combat is engaged. In one fell swoop, we just gained 2 points of Conjuration skill for quite literally doing nothing. Ray Zombie is a nice spell. Alright, so as you can see, that guy's red. They're fighting each other. Our Catman is punching people, which he's ironically a good race for punching people, because Khajiits do extra damage when they're punching people in this game. But he ran out. So that's what happens when your zombie dies. It just turns to a pile of ash after 60 seconds. So what I'm going to do now, hopefully if I can juggle the damage right, is I'm now going to raise this guy and get more points for raising... Oh, that's the wrong spell. I should really remember what I'm using on my quick pass, shouldn't I? We are so bad at this game. 5 is Ray Zombie. Thank you. You missed me. Why is... I'm hitting 5 and it's not switching. That's very annoying. Oh, there we go. Now it's decided to switch, but now I'm probably going to die. Alright. Anyway, there'll be stuff to fight. Oh, what? Maybe I can get him to it. Anyway, dead. Alright, so what we're going to do... We'll get better at this quick bar thing in time. Okay. Can activate that and open the gate, and then we're going to loot some wine. Now, we've got 2 dead bodies over here. We want to try and hopefully use both of them in combat. Combat's already going. Okay, so there's a person that's already run across the bridge. Good timing. Let's raise some bodies then, eh? That's body number 1. I can't actually see what the hell's going on. Whee! There we go. Body number 1 successfully raised. We're not having much luck here, are we? We're just getting walloped. This is a lot cleaner on the Switch. I'm actually better at consoles now than I am at PC. I never thought I'd say that in my entire life, because I spent my entire youth playing PC games, but I'm actually better on console at this game now than I am on PC. Anyway, we raised the second body, we get more Conjuration points. Hooray. Swim under this thing. Hopefully there's a way to find your way out of this. You'd imagine they don't just, like, put a random spot that you need to, like, no-clip your way out of. But it might well be that that's the case. There we go. We're out, and then we can... Jesus. There we go, you can go around it. Okay. Yeah, that's the joy of modern games, is they usually try and account for things like that. Whereas old games, there's areas where you just like jump into a random area and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, you're now stuck because we haven't figured out a way out. Best to reload to save, lol. Yeah, we'll take all the things. So this was our dead bandit from earlier. Take all his stuff. This is our ex-dead bandit. So what you can do actually, I'll demonstrate once I'll raise this one, and then I'll demonstrate how you can artificially generate combat with a bandit. So if you are unable to get combat to generate, this is a little bit of a contrived way of getting combat to be generated, but you can literally just punch them. So there we go, I've got the punch menu. Now what makes things a bit tricky now is that I don't have a summon spell to sort of dispel it, so this is better to do once you have a summon, because then you'll just have like a random bandit following you around. So what I might do is I might do this later, actually. We'll just get this guy to fight for me. Sneak archery, go! Yeet. And Pathfinder AI Supreme, let's just run in the opposite direction. Why not? I swear that arrow went. There we go. Deaded. Ah, and just as the zombie ran out, that's convenient timing. What is take all? R is take all. I swear tab was take all. Alright. Now, let's level up, because why not? More magicka. Destruction, woohoo! Alright, so now we can make use of spells like Flames and Sparks a lot more, because they won't burn through our magicka so quickly, so now we actually have a decent close combat option other than trying to awkwardly shoot stuff with a bow. Anyway, there we go, we're just going to raise him underwater, because why not? And then, it doesn't really matter if he enters combat or not, because the whole point is just to raise him for experience. So far, just as a body count, we've raised, I think, 5 zombies, and we're about to have a 6th enter combat. And our Conjuration is already 24. So it literally just takes 7 iterations of this spell in order to get Conjuration from 15 to 25. It's a very silly spell, but hey, that's Bethesda balance for you. Make raise zombie, raise your experience like nothing, but summoning Atronach's worth absolutely nothing at all. Anyway, now we have flames, and we finally have close combat damage without totally burning through our magicka. Goodbye. Next. I'll just punch him anyway, just to show you. So if he's the only one here, actually, you know what? I've got a bandit that I can raise, so now I can demonstrate what you would do normally in order to dispel this. Normally you can summon something and it's a lot easier, but normally what you do, so you say you want combat, you can punch this guy 4 times, and then he decides to fight you, and then you just like raise something else, or you summon something else, and then he goes away. Easy peasy, and you've just generated experience from your artificially generated combat. Again, very contrived, but it works. I'm not going to bother going in there. If you go in here, there's some stuff. Haven't got a key to help me out. There's ooh, Absorb Magicka weapon. Absorb Magic is kind of it's an okay enchantment early in the game. So what this build does make use of is trying to make money from disenchanting weapons and then enchanting other weapons. And there are 3 enchantments in particular that you can find really early on in the game that make you lots of money, and they are Damage Stamina, Turn Undead, and Absorb Health. They are worth quite a lot of money if you bother to enchant things. Absorb Magic is okay, but it's still not on the same caliber as those big 3. And then you have Paralysis after that, which is slightly more, but then the big one is Banished Daedra. The Banished Daedra enchantment has like a base value that's like more than 3 times the value of every single other enchantment in the game. So once you find the Banished Daedra enchantment, you can just enchant random weapons with Banished Daedra and make a ton of money. Not quite as much as if you maxed Alchemy and then tried to make money through making Alchemy as a business model, which is what a lot of people do if they want to make a business model out of the game, but at least the enchanting method is a little bit more organic. Again, trying to make money out of Alchemy assumes that you know where everything is and that you're just going to go and collect stuff and know which potions you're going to make and yada 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 yada, which this guide does eventually advertise as something you can do. But assuming you're playing organically, if you're just randomly finding soul gems and randomly soul trapping things and you randomly find an enchantment, then you can feasibly make money that way without doing anything too contrived. So that's why I decided mainly to use enchanting to gain money. Anyway, so now we have a 2-handed weapon. You're going to give it to Faendal. because it does more damage than a one-handed weapon. Even though he's a one-handed weapon specialist, the amount that his skills have leveled up at this stage of the game is negligible, so basically now he's a light-armoured person with a two-handed weapon, and you can pretty much just leave him as a light-armoured person with a two-handed weapon until you fob him off and get another follower. Anyway, so, we're about to head into the final room. I think I forgot a bandit, didn't I? Oh no, I raised the bandit and then he died and he expired. Well, that was a bit of a waste. Anyway, all good. There's plenty of other fish in the sea that we can raise and get experience from. We only need one more anyway to get Conjuration to 25. So what I'm going to try and do, one of these I think is a bandit outlaw and he might hurt a lot. So what I can maybe do is get them to fight each other. So Fury is quite a fun spell, but it's horrible to try and hit moving targets with. So this guy's moving. If you try and aim this at him and try and hit him, it's not guaranteed because he sort of does this patrol route along here and then he turns back around and then goes up there. So instead of trying to shoot him, unless he conveniently stops in the middle of the bridge, which he may well do, I don't remember enough about this. There we go. Hooray. Now he'll fight everyone. So with any luck, he goes and shoots the people down the bottom and doesn't run in this direction. If he does, then I guess we're in for a battle. But with any luck, they all turn around and fight each other. There we go. That's what we want to see. So yeah, this is the fun of Frenzy early in the game. Who needs to actually deal damage when you can just get everyone to kill each other, right? Wow, that was bad. Alright, now we have no magicka to raise a body, so that was a bit silly. I might actually have to use a magicka potion. Oops-a-daisy. And... Alright, well this is a bit awkward. I need to get to that bandit, and I can't, because there's people in the way, so I'm just going to do some like parkour and hope that it works. There we go, that kind of worked. Jesus Christ. Yay. Alright, so yes, just like forward advertisement, guys, you don't need to be a mechanically gifted person at this game in order to play this build, because I'm certainly not mechanically gifted at this game at all on PC at the moment, and I'm doing alright. There we go, so we raised that zombie, and then he turned to dust, and then we raised another zombie, and now he's going to fight for us, and we got some more experience. There you go, just like Conjuration 27 from casting a few spells at random corpses and then running around looting stuff while everybody else does the work. Gotta love Conjuration, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, there you go, cave cleared. Hurrah, that was hard. So yeah, that's kind of the MO with this build on Legendary difficulty. Like, it's very focused on getting your friends to do things for you rather than yourself. It's very akin to the, in a way, the lazy Argonian as wow, I've forgotten his name. That's really bad. As Major Slack Attack used. Lazy Argonian. Anyway, so you can loot all this stuff. You've got a zombie trailing along behind you. Conjuration's 27, which means that now we can officially head off and get our Conjuration Axe spell, which is nice. We're going to do one more thing before we do that. I'm not going to bother raising that zombie. I don't really need to. Now that it's 27, it's not imperative that I'd run around and repeatedly loot zombies and punch them as much as before. This is a cool little area. I don't think I've ever been here before. There's a nice chest. There you go. Today I learned there was a hidden chest there. Played this game that many times. Mind you, I guess it was a while ago. So, W is to force the lock and then move the mouse to rotate. There we go. Cool. Oh, and there's an iron ore vein. So yeah, I guess you can use this. I've seen this place used quite a lot to get an early pickaxe, if you want to use a pickaxe to, you know, mine stuff and craft it, but we're really not concerned with smithing early on. You don't need it. You can spend quite a lot of effort getting like a 10% damage increase on a weapon with smithing, maybe 20, and you can boost up your armor rating like a few percentage points early on. So or you can just, like, you know, avoid damage and get bound weapons that you can't improve with smithing, you know. But anyway, so that's Embershard Mine, and we come out here. Woohoo! So you come out of Embershard Mine, and you're around this part of town. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do, I guess, is we're gonna find our way to Riverwood. And then after we find our way to Riverwood, we're going to find our way to Whiterun. So hopefully Faendal's pathfinding isn't horrible. So this is something you can do. If your follower gets stuck because you did parkour and they suck at parkour, then you can just wait an hour. Wait an hour. Is he back? Hooray! Faendal is back. Magic. Cool. Alright, so one thing we might do, we might see if we can get to level 5 before we reach Whiterun. And that way we can get Apprentice Conjuration. So the way that we're going to do that is we're going to kill this little crab. Oi! Don't disappear in the water, now I can't see you. There he is. Whee! Epic cinematic of thing dying out of camera shot. Dun, 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 dun. Alright, anyway, so we got a mud crab. By the way, mud crabs, early on in the game, actually hurt a ton. They're not to be underestimated. This thing could probably kill me in 2 hits. Anyway, now we've got a mud crab, we can of course raise it. And then we can find another enemy and get some experience. So, if you run up here... Actually, no, let's go to Whiterun. We're going to Whiterun, so that's all we need to do. Whiterun is in this direction. Now, one thing you can do actually to generate combat is you can cast Fury on wild animals. We're not going to bother doing that though, because I'm pretty sure there's something up here that will generate combat for us. I think. 90% sure there's something here. Hey? I swear there was something here you could fight. Well, damn. I swear there was a wolf around here. Maybe I will have to artificially generate combat. Anyway, my mud crab's probably dissipated now. That's really sad. I thought there was a wolf. Anyway, whatever. There we go. Bye, mud crab. I thought there was a wolf here. I guess not. Maybe it's hiding. Yeah, there is a wolf. You bastard. Could have been here 10 seconds earlier and I would have got my experience. Anyway. Alright, anyway. Where's our little elk friend? Whatever. Anyway, nothing's really working out for us. Let's just raise you and then see if we can find combat in 60 seconds. If not, it's no biggie. We'll just get Apprentice Conjuration later. Anyway, so what are we doing? We have just got Conjuration to 25, which is what it says to do in the guide, and then the next step is to go to Whiterun. With any luck, we find... There we go. Hi. I'm just going to absolutely make sure. Hooray. There we go. Combat generated. And then the deer's kind of funny. He just like stands there and makes noise. Oh, actually, wow, he's fighting. He's actually fighting. Usually when you fight deer, they just kind of like stand there and make noise. Jesus. Goodbye, deer. Alright, thanks. Hooray, we are level 5. Oh, and it has large antlers. Ooh. Cool. Alright. Thanks, zombie wolf. So now we're level 5. Hooray. Once again, more magicka. And now we're going to take Apprentice Conjuration. Woohoo! So what does Apprentice Conjuration do for us? It means that we can summon Flame Atronachs for not very much magicka. And Flame Atronachs are going to be probably your best buddy in the quote-unquote early game alongside Faendal. So one thing I haven't talked about yet is that for the guide I designated early, mid and late game as basically benchmarks that the character will reach based upon what they have. And oh yeah, there's a world encounter here, and so we've got an Imperial soldier and a Stormcloak soldier. It looks like taking a piss or something. So yeah, we'll just leave them alone. So yeah, there's benchmarks in this guide sort of roughly designated as early, mid, and late game. And they are meant to represent key breakpoints in power or shifts in playstyle that the build will experience. So the early game is basically the very beginning, level 1, right up until you get Expert Conjuration and Summon Dremora Lord, because those two perks in particular are very powerful Conjuration perks. Dremora Lord's rock. And then once you get them, you can basically almost 100% rely on summons for combat, which is quite cheap. But hey, that's the truth, really. You can almost leave Dremora Lords to do everything for you on legendary difficulty within reason. Obviously, if they die, you can just summon more of them. So, yeah, Dremora Lords are really cool. And so the idea is behind this build is that you rush Conjuration, get to Dremora Lords, so then that becomes the transition between early and mid game, and then you are then basically hiding behind a follower and Dremora Lords whilst you get enough levels and perks to practice all your combat skills, because you basically want, you know, an ability to fight whilst you're investing all these perks into crafting skills. And so once you get Conjuration, that's your ability to fight. Spend your next 20 or so perks on crafting skills if you're so inclined, and then once you've got crafting skills there, then you've mastered crafting, and then you can do whatever you want. So that becomes late game. So early game is working your way towards Expert Conjuration, mid game is working your way towards maxing crafting skills, and late game is, hey, you have crafting skills, you can do whatever you want. Alright, Dead Giant, hooray. Then you get your little speech from Ayla, running across the thing, and then, you look strong. You should join us, because you do the biff.
You handle yourself well. You could make for a decent shield brother.
What is a shield brother, do you say? Faendal staring menacingly into my eyes, being like, give me attention.
And we show up to solve problems if the coin is good enough.
Yeah.
Not for me to say.
Again, as this build is quite open-ended, you can choose to join the companions and do the companion quest if you want. This is not meant to be a race around the land and collect X specific artifacts type build. You can kind of just play it organically, so I may well decide to do some companion quests if I feel like it later on. I may not. It's not really, doesn't really matter. For the moment I won't though, because I want to do the things that I've outlined in the guide, which is basically get decent early spells, and then head on to Bleak Falls Barrow and do that jazz. But before we do that, we discovered the stables. Woohoo! So we have the stables, and then at the stables you have this guy. So this guy gives you the ability to basically travel to any of the 9 places, any of the 9 major cities around Skyrim, and then that can save you from walking. So say you wanted to like join the College of Winterhold, instead of walking all the way across country to here, you can just use the carriages and then go and visit the College of Winterhold, which is an objective we got from a quest. Yeah, so you can just do that. We won't do that just yet though, because we want to, you know, sell stuff. All that jazz. I probably missed a bunch of items along the way. This like fact that I'm playing on PC with controls that I'm not really 100% used to, and the fact that the frame rate is god awful, means that I'm actually not playing this as well as I normally would on the Switch, and so it's kind of a bit disorienting. There's also the fact that I'm like commenting over stuff, which is something I'm not used to doing. This is the first Let's Play I've done with audio commentary. You guys are my first Let's Play with audio commentary if you're deciding to watch this, so have fun there. I did a Let's Play for another old game called Neverwinter Nights. I made some builds, and I did a Let's Play of the original campaign, which you can also find on my YouTube channel. But yeah, this is my second Let's Play of all time and my first time with audio, so we're trying to work out stuff as we go, and it's a little bit daunting, but yeah, we're missing some stuff, but it doesn't really matter. We're getting our way through. It's all that matters. Alright, so now we're going to go visit the Jarl. So yeah, if you're following along in this guide, we're basically at the end of, you know, quote unquote 4.2 at this point. So we visited Riverwood, we've got Faendal, we've got Conjuration to 25, and now because we've essentially got an Apprentice Conjuration. We can go and get some nice spells that we can make use of it. It's 4:12 a.m., which means that none of the shops are open, which is a little bit sad. But that's fine, because we can basically just, walk around town and pick flowers and kill time if we want. I can probably just wait, to be honest, because I think 8 minutes is a little bit of a bit of a boring time spent picking flowers. But what we're going to do before we wait for any of our shops to open is get out of the way. I was picking lavender. Is we're going to go and visit this shrine up here, which is the Shrine of Archay. Now, the Shrine of Archay is probably one of 2 useful early game shrines, because it just gives you flat stats, and early on in the game you don't have much stats, so flat stats are nice. So Archay gives you 25 health, which means you have it basically increases your life bar by 25%, which is quite a substantial amount. So it's definitely worth getting. I'm just going to pick some more lavender and tundra cotton. You don't actually need that much of this stuff. I'm just kind of doing it because I'm bored and I'm just kind of cruising around. You will use this stuff to make potions, which is why I'm doing it again. So what I might do, maybe not just yet, maybe after we get through Bleak Falls Barrow, is we're going to use all of our little ingredients we've been sort of pottering around and picking up to make into some useful early game concoctions. And again, this is like, useful early game concoctions that you would find without, going 10 kilometers away to a specific spot and picking mushrooms. Just stuff you would normally find around Whiterun. Now, so that's the nice blessing. What does the blessing do? The blessing of Archay, active effects, gives us 25 health. And it lasts for 7 hours. Now that's 7 in-game, that's 7 real-life hours, not 7 play hours. So, that will be on for quite a long time. Then we got our other little benefits. I've forgotten I've still got this silly little haggling necklace on. I'm not used to wearing that at this stage of the game. It's kind of funny. Alright. After that, we need to go to Dragon's Reach and talk to the Jarl. Oh, by the way, so nightshades. Nightshades are a fairly typical poison ingredient. In real life, nightshade flowers are poisonous, and they're used in all sorts of literature to represent poison. So nightshade plants in Skyrim have a lot of poison effects, and they typically grow around dead things. So if you've ever been to a graveyard or you've seen people dead in the wild, you typically will find nightshade not far away. Yeah. I'm not sure where Faendal's got himself stuck. I might have to wait at the top. We're going to have to wait anyway, so let's just sprint to the top and then wait, and then he should be there. Cool. Dragon's Reach found. Wait for an hour. And Faendal is back. Magic. Alright, here we go. Okie doke. I guess I should line up my quests with what I'm doing. So,
What's the meaning of this interruption?
yay, Irileth. Irileth, the Bulldog Housecarl, wonders who you are, for good reason, because you're just like a random stranger that's been led into the city when it's been locked down. But you have important information, so you can just bypass all the normal channels, and then you can go and talk to Mr. Relaxed over here with his curly hand gestures. And then you can make some smart-ass comment.
You're certainly forthright about your criminal past, but it's none of my concern who the Imperials want to execute, especially now. What I want to know is, what exactly happened at Helgen? By Ismir, Irileth was right. What do you say now, Apprentice? Shall we continue to trust in the strength of our walls against the dragon?
The voice acting in this game is definitely better than Oblivion. Oblivion voice acting was incredibly wooden and funny, but Skyrim at least is somewhat emotionally involved. It's still sort of B-grade Hollywood level. But
We should not. I'll not stand idly by while a dragon burns my hold and slaughters my people. Irileth.
That was soap opera quality right there.
Yes, my Jarl.
If you'll excuse me, I'll return to my duties.
That would be best. Well done. You sought me out on your own initiative. You've done Whiterun a service. I won't forget it. Here, Take this
Cool.
as a
You
small
get some
token of
stuff
my
that you can
esteem.
sell to a person.
There is another thing you could do for me. Suitable for someone of your particular talents.
Alright, and now we get to go and
Come,
talk to Farengar.
let's go
Now,
find
before we
Farengar,
talk to Farengar, though,
my
we
court wizard.
kind of want to sell our stuff.
He's been looking into a matter related to these dragons and rumors of dragons.
So before we go over there, all the shops open at about 8, so we're going to basically sprint down to the general trader, and then wait an hour, and then sell him stuff, and then come back up and talk to Farengar, and then buy his spells. So let's do that now. Run, 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 run. Just going to like drift around the corner at about 3 FPS, or whatever my machine is running this game out at the moment. And we're going to run out of fatigue, sad. And Farengar's going to get stuck long behind, but he's going to randomly teleport into the building once we finally enter the building. Oh, actually, we need to wait an hour anyway, so let's wait. Waiting 1 hour. Doink. And then Farengar is back. Magic. Pick that flower. Wait for the door to open. Sweet.
Got something for just about everybody in here. Give a holler if you have any questions.
Alright, there you are. I think I actually have a better weapon for you, so before I sell stuff,
What do you want me to carry?
I think I picked up a steel warhammer. I think. Steel greatsword. There you go, you can have that instead. Cool. Alright. Steel's, in theory, better than iron, right?
Everything's for sale. Take a look.
Alright, let's sell you some stuff. So we're going to start with some weapons. I'll keep a hold of the iron arrows, because, now I'll keep a hold of the iron dagger of sapping, because I will disenchant it when I go back up. Am I actually selling stuff, or am I buying stuff? I am selling stuff, good. Oh yeah, right, so the greatsword weighed less than the warhammer, that makes sense. Alright, sell the greatswords, sell the maces. You're going to now dispense with one-handed weapons entirely for both yourself and your follower, so you're just going to sell all this stuff. In the meantime, we're going to a bit of speech, hooray. It's pretty hard to avoid gaining speech if you just periodically sell stuff to merchants, and that's what we're going to be doing, because money is nice. You're not going to bother with any light armor yourself. I guess you could, like, you know, buy yourself some boots. But I kind of like the idea of this guy just trudging around this, you know, frozen wasteland barefoot for about 50 levels before he decides to finally put shoes on. Yeah. Sell some wine. Keep the ingredients. You can keep the ingredients. What I might do actually is I can show you a cheap place you can put stuff, and no one will steal it because, hey, it's like a video game. Sell the garnets, keep the iron ingots and the ore because you might use them a bit later, but now we have a nice 1,315 gold, and that should be enough to buy a decent amount of spells. Keep a hold of the rings too, because you use them later on to enchant stuff. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you the barrels out the front of War Maidens in Whiterun. Now, I've advertised these as like places you can just dump stuff, so I mean, if you're being realistic, you would buy a house, you put your things in the thing in the house. If you're just purely viewing this from the perspective of like, hey, this is a video game and I want to do things practically in a video game, well, here is somewhere that you can store your loot that is easy to access and next to merchants. So let's just store it in here. So normally I put the ingredients in this barrel, so let's go and just like store all this stuff in here now. Yeah. Cool. So ingredients in there, and then I normally put smithing and enchanting stuff in here. So that includes iron ingots and iron ore. There you go. You can also use these two barrels up here for stuff, and then you can use the barrel out the front of Arcadia's for stuff. I usually just use those two barrels there early on for most things, and pretty much what you're using them for is basically just to store crafting materials until later on in the game, because no one steals them. Now I guess you could probably install some mod that means that NPCs get a little bit snoopy and then they decide to have a look. Why is everyone running out the gate? Very strange. I don't know why everyone's running out the gate, but I can't be bothered to check why. It can't be a dragon because we're not up to that quest yet, so it's probably something else weird. Probably like an animal or a thief or something. Anyway, I'm just going to be like an oblivious dude who picks flowers instead, because piece of war man. And let's run up to Dragon's Reach again and buy some spells.
Mister, could you spare a coin?
That was not meant to happen. Yeah. So yeah, sorry if this is like not the most exhilarating, thrilling, interactive gameplay in the world. But yeah, this is like, hey, if you were to play this organically and you're like, yeah, let's just pick some stuff. You're actually kidding, right? Is that a dragon? No. Jesus. Very weird. Alright. Could have just been the shadow of a bird or something and I heard a weird sound effect and made the association in my head. Anyway, we have money. Let's go and talk to Mr. Farengar over here.
Come to Dragon's Reach. Ah, indeed.
Ah, yes, I have wooden voice acting. Yes, I'm reading this off a script for the first time. Well, maybe I'll adjust my emotional tone somewhat halfway through this speech, now that I'm kind of a little bit more adjusted to
I
it.
really mean delve into a dangerous ruin in search of an ancient stone tablet that may or may not actually be there. Straight to the point, eh? No need for tedious hows and whys. I like that. Leave those details to your betters, am I right? I, learned of a certain stone tablet said to be housed in Bleak Falls Barrow. A dragon stone, said to contain a map of dragon burial sites. Go to Bleak Falls Barrow, find this tablet, no doubt interred in the main chamber, and bring it to me. Simplicity itself.
Alright, cool. Let's buy stuff. So, he has some nice spells. Now, the two spells that you want above everything else is this one, because you can use it to increase Conjuration. Much like Ray Zombie, but it's kind of safer. And you can sort of spam it in combat, which is a bit cheap. But we'll try to avoid spamming this in combat as much as we can, just to make it not be like we're artificially leveling too much. But we'll buy that regardless. And then the next one you want is this one, which is Conjure Flame Atronak. And that is a nice pet that you can summon when you need to deal damage for you. Yay! So then, as well as that, you'll probably want this, because torches are cumbersome, and that's a free torch. Then you'll probably want this one, so you can heal your follower. Now this is an Apprentice level spell, which means that it will burn through Magicka like no tomorrow until you have the Apprentice perk, but that doesn't matter too much. This you can use to power level Illusion, so we're going to buy that too. And then you might... Now, what do I want last? Okay, now I've got enough for one more spell, and I have to decide what I want. So, Calm and Fear are funny illusion spells, but they're not useful against undead, so we probably won't bother with them just yet. Frostbite does frost damage. It's like a frost version of flames, but you don't really need to use it. If the slow effect worked properly in Skyrim, then Frostbite would be freaking amazing, because you could just use it to cripple the movement speed of all your opponents. But unfortunately, due to bugginess, it only works if an opponent is sheathing or drawing a weapon, which makes it really situational and not very consistent, and you don't really need to bother with it. Ward spells on legendary difficulty suck. There's no way about it. Everything does 3 times damage to you, and that means they do 3 times damage to wards, and like ward spells just suck. That's just the way of it. Ward spells suck on legendary difficulty. Don't bother relying on them. You could maybe make a case for a character that uses destruction and runes and like lures people into traps, because you can get some perks that increase the damage of runes quite substantially. We're not going to bother doing that. We already have Oak Flesh, so I guess the one spell left... I mean, we could get fast healing, but we don't have enough for that to be useful for ourselves yet. So we might just get Soul Trap. Because Soul Trap is definitely a useful spell that we will use. And then we'll spend the rest of our coin buying a couple of petty soul gems that we can chuck some Draugr souls into. Maybe it would be worth selling our garnet rings, actually, just to get a hold of some more soul gems. Yeah, that'll do. There we go, 5 petty soul gems that we can chuck Draugr souls in if we're so inclined. We'll keep the silver rings. Sweet.
Bleak Falls Barrow with you. The Jarl is not a patient man. Neither am I.
Alright. one day you'll get used to these controls. You want to read the books. Read. Speed reading, yeah. Alright, now it's time to make our quick bar look sad. So we're going to favourite that, we're going to favourite this, we're going to favourite clairvoyance. Did I actually buy it? No. I found clairvoyance. We're going to favourite that, we're going to favourite that, we're going to favourite that, we're going to favourite that. And now our quick bar is going to be a cluster floosh. So we'll keep our bow, we'll keep healing, we'll make Ray Zombie 3, that makes a lot more sense in my head. We'll make Fury 4, we'll make Flames 5. Actually, no, we'll make Flame Atronach 3 and Ray Zombie 5. Oak Flesh we're probably not going to use. Muffle can be that. Soul Trap can be that. And then what we should probably do is actually just, in case of emergency, just make that 8. Yeah? That way, if like I'm running, I don't have to like stop and navigate to my inventory in order to use healing potions. If I remember to use them, of course. Okay, alright, so we've got our cool running buddy, Faendal, and we've just been to Whiterun, and we've talked to the Jarl, and we've got ourselves kitted out with some nice spells. Now all that's left to do is to go and plunder Bleak Falls Barrow, so we might head on over there, ready to do that, and then call it a video. And then we have an objective for next time. Alright, so the next step is to head to Bleak Falls Barrow, which is all the way up there, and we're going to do that next time. So thank you very much, guys. Let's just save. Alright, thank you very much, guys, and I hope you have a good day.